Welcome back to the Sledgehammer's Edge Impact. Today I have a very fascinating lady for you to meet, Vandana Suri, a lady who runs what we call Taxi, an amazing organization which has only women drivers as cab drivers, as bus drivers, for schools, and a plethora of very, very safe alternatives for women in our country. Apart from that, her life story, her struggles, and the way she climbed up as an entrepreneur, single mother, to who she is today is absolutely fascinating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Hello, Vandana Suri, and how are you doing? It's such a pleasure having you on board because I've always wanted to interview you for the simple reason that very concept that your very enterprise is so fascinating. I'm so happy, very grateful that you've actually come on board today. Welcome to the Sledgehammer's Edge Impact, Vandana.
Thank you so much. I'm also excited. My God, I've been seeing some of your blogs and now it's my turn to be on this.
Oh, good Lord. Vandana, tell me all about you first. Let's hear who you really are. The Vandana Suri behind that amazing venture of yours.
I'm just another girl like everybody out there. Let's call myself a girl and forget the grays for now. But I think every woman is a little girl, and I'm quite a tod-fod person.
Okay.
Matlab, it's very hard for me to be diplomatic. Okay, so I hope I'm diplomatic on your show.
Please be as
Whatever,
undiplomatic as you want.
whatever comes in my mind, I'm the one who's I usually have my foot in my mouth. Yeah, and I think I'm a very, if you would call it in today's terms, a very strong woman.
Oh,
Been through a childhood abuse like a lot of women out there. Hashtag Me Too included me also, like all of you.
all right.
And somewhere I'm finding that safe space for women through taxi, especially in mobility. So somewhere I felt that I needed to do something about it. And here I am, an ex investment banker turned taxi driver, simply
Oh,
loving what I do, pulling each one in along with me. And I'm trying to create a revolution out here.
awesome. No, taxi. Taxi is actually your venture.
Yeah.
How did it all begin? Where did that thought process jump into your head? And what have you been doing with it?
So I must tell you that, the Nirbhaya incident had happened in India.
Yes,
And
yes.
somewhere we all were at the edge with that. It left a very long impact on all of our minds. And post that, about a year later, there was an incident. In an Uber in Delhi,
Yeah.
where this lady was coming back from the club or pub or whatever, and she got raped in an Uber. And the next day, the newspapers were fully splashed with, this has happened. तो उसमें एक लाइन थी उसकी छोटी सी लाइन थी which she said, you know what, if there was a woman driving me, this would not have happened. It was such a simple, practical line that had come out, and that really stuck in my head. I said, hey, listen,
Wow.
what she's talking makes sense.
Yes.
I'm a woman,
Yes.
I can drive. Why in the world are there no women drivers? And that's it. It just took that 1 second, one snap, it's like a button in your head. And that's it. I just left my investment banking career and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. And that was the turn of events. It gave a lot of direction to all that frustration which had bottled up inside me over the years. Suddenly that frustration of over the years was like a why it was like a powerhouse. It's like a soda bottle.
Right.
Psst, all this fizz had to come out.
Yes,
And I,
yes.
I think it got beautifully channeled into something so wonderful, right? Um,
I think this is uh, you probably just fell into one of those most important principles of every good businessman or a businesswoman in your case, to identify a pain and then work a solution around it.
yeah,
I mean, that's really been that's a success story of a lot of people, who actually get very passionate about a pain that they might have gone through themselves or seen somebody else going through it, then conjuring up a very plausible solution and turning that into a venture.
yeah,
It's I think what generally derives out of a process like this is something that is very deeply passionate and social. I'm sure you wouldn't have thought of the money first. You would have thought about all those women security that you're going to provide.
yeah.
The moment they get into your taxi. Now, taxi um, has been your venture for how long? How long have you been operating taxi?
It's 8 years now.
Oh, God, Lord. And
Yeah.
it's solely based in Bangalore, where we are right now, or where is
No,
this?
no, we have branches in Gurgaon as well as in Mumbai, but Bangalore has just the cab division. In all the three cities, on the other hand, we have a training vertical where we train women how to drive. Uh,
Okay,
Clients,
okay,
like it's an alternate driving school model as well. So we have two segments. One is the women cabs, which is exclusively for women and children, and on the other hand we run taxi break free, where we have women coaches who train women how to drive on their own cars. So that segment of taxi break free currently is available in all these three cities, and we will start getting into more cities from here.
okay. So 8 years with taxi. What were all the challenges that you faced first as an entrepreneur, and more importantly, as a woman entrepreneur? Because I mean, I have mentored several women entrepreneurs, and I do understand the kind of roadblocks that you face, far more than men do. But I'd like to know where it came to your venture, this particular organization that you created. What were all the challenges that you faced? And obviously, you pull out of it with so much passion. Any which way.
uh, I think challenges were, and I think it's just about finding easy solutions to it. Okay, I mean, overthinking kills off the whole thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
the first challenge was getting the women drivers itself. So nobody wanted to be a taxi driver. You were talking that I didn't think money. Yes, I did think money after I jumped into it, though. So I put up a
Okay.
post on Facebook that day that, listen, this is what I want to do. And I invited women, how many of you can join me or refer somebody who can be a cabbie with me? And no single woman came to join, but I got 3,000 calls that day. I need a taxi. I need a taxi. I said, chalo,
All right.
business to hai idhar. That was my dip test that, wow, there's a market out here. Um, ऐसे ठीक है अब तो वुमेन ड्राइवर को ढूंढना पड़ेगा तो मैं तो फर्स्ट आई ओनली बिकेम वन ऐसे चलो लेट मी स्टार्ट विथ माई सेल्फ
All right.
देखा जाएगा आई फिगर आउट व्हाट्स नॉट वर्किंग ऑन द वे and the first challenge came from my mom itself.
All
And
right.
right
Okay.
at home, and I just told her, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to become a taxi driver, and I want to drive kids to schools, tuitions, and all. And mom was like, from an investment banker, you want to be a taxi driver? She literally just fell off the seat. Okay.
I can well imagine. I can well imagine. Okay.
And so the way to handle this is don't ask, just tell. You start asking.
That's a good one for me. All right.
Yeah, just tell, drop the bomb. It's done.
All right.
And after some time, she was like, then she started saying, "Oh my God, my daughter's really serious about this, and she's going to do this." So then she was very smart. She had seen all this ups and downs in the
Yeah.
investment banking career, markets falling and layman crisis and all that. So she says, hey, listen, if you become a taxi driver and you drive kids to schools and all, you'll make 40,000-50,000 rupees to bring home or not? How will the food come on the table?
Ah.
हाँ मम्मा ये तो फुल ईयर का बिजनेस है ऐसे ओके ओके जाओ जाओ करो.
Oh my God. How innocent.
Yeah, so her focus was, see, I'm a single mom, and my mother stays with me with my son, and she's the one who manages the home. Technically, she's the homemaker.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
for her, the first thing is like, will she be able to get food on the table or not? What's going to happen? So for her, the thing was more on the financial side. So I think that was my first hurdle. The second, I'm going to go very small, small hurdles so that
Yeah,
you
sure, sure, of
understand.
course.
So the second small hurdle was that I had to find marginalized community women who could come and join the system. And I didn't have any NGO network, nothing. I was this glamorous suit boot wala investment banker. And then I started walking into the slums with all my Dinchak suit boot
Okay.
because that was the only thing I knew what to dress up like.
Oh,
And uh, and I didn't know Kannada. I didn't know the local language here.
okay.
And walking into that slum. So first of all, I didn't know how to talk to people, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I found a translator who was a 6-year-old little girl in that dressed up pavade, that um, I don't know what you call it in English, okay?
Yeah.
The little skirt and that silk dress. And she was jumping on a pile of mud. So I was trying to explain to her in Hindi कि ऐसा lady है क्या? I was trying to search some lady, some reference I had. So I was trying to search that lady. And then that girl looks at me and says, I know English. I said, oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
this is like sorted, So, so I started talking to her in English that, I want to do this. Can you talk to that sabji wali lady and explain to her what I want? And so cutely, I was holding her little pinky here and walking
Uh,
around in the whole slum. And she's
uh,
talking in Kannada to the Sappu lady and all, and explaining to her what this lady wants. So translation became an issue, but then there was such a simple solution
yes. Yes.
to a
Yes.
little girl.
Yeah.
The third thing was when I started bringing the girls aboard, these women, so for me, going into slums had become like a weekly kitty party. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So where everybody goes into different, women entrepreneurship events. Here I was every week walking into a slum. Yeah.
Right.
Discussing that same rubbish with them. And they were thinking I'm some politician who's come here or giving bhashan. So,
No.
so they used to have their chit fund parties, chitty parties, if you
Chitty
call.
parties.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And that was the time where women would accumulate together every week or every month, whatever. So I would be like a sniffer dog, finding out from my references when is the next chitty party. And I'll go and sit there in the chitty party in the same rubbish, okay, like on the ground with banana peels here and there, and
Okay.
like
Okay.
the flies and whatever,
Okay. Okay.
whatever. But then I had to be there and I would start talking to them about joining into taxi as a driver. And first तो they used to think कि ये तो कोई madam आई है, some political lady. But it took a few months to convince them, no, I'm coming every day. That consistency,
Ah.
chitti parties work.
Hmm.
Slowly, slowly, one on the other, people started, okay, okay, this madam is coming. She's a genuine character. Let's join. Then the issue came of training them. Oh my God. Yeah, so they were very excited about driving a taxi. They were very
Okay.
excited about driving per se. I was like, wow, I get to drive. That was the hero worship for them in their head right now. Like, I get to drive a car, right?
Right.
And they've never ever sat in a car. Yeah. They don't know where to put the key. Never. They've never opened the door of a car. Now imagine converting this person into a professional driver.
My God, that's one Herculean task,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So um, we were very fortunate when that post that I had put up much earlier that I wanted to do that. Maruti contacted us that, listen, you're doing such a good thing that why don't we train your girls under our CSR? We'll train them and give you. I said, wow, ये तो बहुत अच्छा है. Such a
Hmm.
big organization wakes up
Hmm.
and tells me, listen, ये तो free में मेरे को training करके दे रहा है. I was super excited. I said, oh, this is very good. So I started sending the girls to Maruti for the training.
Hmm.
Now there was the issue was coming there. Okay. where the trainers, right, at the bottom level, now these girls are also in the same ecosystem as the trainers, the same busties.
Right.
And suddenly, these trainers, the gender, disparity came up there.
Yes.
These
Yes.
guys were telling these girls, "Are, you suddenly become a princess, man. Suddenly you want to be, you're one, just one of us. Now you want to take my job. Now you will be the princess and one queen, driving children around." And there itself, something was blocking. Okay. So we realized that, and poor Maruti was also not able to put their finger on what was wrong. We realized that even months after training, this lady could not drive 50 meters. So
Okay.
I said something is wrong. So one thing we realized was this gender issue that was going on there, where he's trying to knock her down. Yeah, it's a man over there trying to knock down a woman who's trying to get into an alternate career. As simple as that. The second thing is, in all training schools, they have a dual clutch on this side, the clutch and the brake.
Yes.
So the girls were so used to that dual clutch training that in spite of Maruti giving us almost 55 hours of free training, the girls couldn't drive. So I said, nahi, isko set karna hai, right. So then I became a trainer from there. I had to understand what it will take to train these girls. So
Right.
I
Right.
migrated from becoming a taxi driver into becoming a trainer, and then finding very gender sensitive trainers to train my girls. So there were no women trainers there, only men again.
All right. So you had to get men to train them?
Yes, but then I had to really drill it into their heads that, boss, she's going to do something great. She's going to keep the next generation safe, and you better be good to her. Otherwise, you don't have a job. I started really talking to the trainers. Listen, you're not the hero. She's the hero. And you get paid
Right.
when the hero goes and
Right.
performs. You're like the behind the production cast out here. But, she's the queen. She's the queen bee. So, literally throttling the guys down with sensitivity that was needed for a woman to come up, that became a process. So very different challenges at
No,
this.
this is something else. This is something that's very different, very different. And I can imagine what it actually took you to convince the guy to
Yeah.
train this girl who he felt might one day take over his job,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that is something, it's like the AI world today.
Yeah.
If you look at the way it's moving in the next 2, 3 years, I won't even know whether I'm actually interviewing Vandana Suri at all. It just might be an AI image in front of me, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be very difficult to know what is going to be, what is factual and what is, a whole lot of BS. So I can imagine you actually convincing this guy to
Mm.
train this girl or teach the girl to drive, uh, and balancing out the fact that you may not lose your job, but you're going to make a secure world over
Yeah.
you. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's amazing, brother. I'm just feeling the entire intensity of what you were doing. And I don't think I would have been able to do this myself. I mean, it's a hats off to you. Amazing. Now, Vandana, you did mention that you're a single mother,
Yeah.
and therefore, obviously, the entire world rests on your shoulders now, which is, if in some cases fortunate, in some cases not very fortunate. But obviously, as an entrepreneur, and with such a dynamic system of functioning when it comes to handling women drivers, training them, then ensuring that the integrities are very strong, ensuring that they are safe. I mean, it's a multitask that you're doing. How do you then handle your work-life balance? That's something that is been on my mind. I want to ask you this.
I think single moms don't have a work-life balance. They all topsy-turvy. But that topsy-turviness itself becomes like a cyclical management, if I would call it.
Right,
There,
right,
I don't think there's any work-life balance, or I think the mental stress, I think it's more of a financial and emotional balance that needs to come.
right, right,
We
right,
don't
right.
even think of work-life balance. We think, अरे मेरा भेजा कब set रहेगा और
Ah.
मेरा पैसा कब आएगा? To two things we set.
Yeah, I can imagine because that in fact, till your enterprise doesn't start paying you without you lifting a finger. I suppose every entrepreneur goes through that. I've gone through that myself, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can imagine how that could have been. But oh, does this affect your relationship with your daughter or your mother? Or is there some moments in your life when you feel, yeah, nahi karta to अच्छा होता, I'd had a lot of time with my daughter or spend some more
Mm,
time with my aging
mm.
mother. Have you gone through those emotional stresses?
No, I haven't. In fact, I found a lot of strength with my mom and my son.
Oh,
It
your
was
son, sorry, not your
Yeah,
daughter,
my
your son.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 19 now.
Yeah.
And the beauty was, I could show my son as a live example that, no matter what, you can do this. I went
Yeah.
single when my son was
Yeah.
1 year old and I had just $100 in my pocket. Yeah, it's 19 years. And he's seen me through the struggles of strengthening life, and
Hmm.
I think it has left an impact on him, right? The next generation. He's going to respect women. He's going to respect strong women. Let's
Yes.
do that,
Yes.
right? And I had my fun moments. So I would, there was a time where he was very young, maybe 5 years old, and I just asked him. I said, your mama is a taxi driver, and how is your friend circle reacting to that?
Hmm.
How are your
Hmm.
friends' moms reacting to this, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Maybe he was a little older. Yeah, not 4, 5, but yeah. So, anyways, I asked him, I said, so what is the reaction of your friends' moms to your mother being a taxi driver?
Yes.
And I thought he'd be embarrassed, but it was very different. He said, oh my God, those women are in awe of you. What are you talking? You're making a multi-million-dollar industry here, by becoming a taxi
Uh,
driver. Yes.
बहुत बढ़िया, thank you.
It's like, ये तो अच्छा है.
Yeah.
Then one day was very interesting when he came from school and he had to, I think they were studying about the French Revolution and all these global revolutions. So they had to write an essay on what is the revolution you're seeing in your own country, and what's happening around you. It was more
Right.
like, and
Right.
and this boy goes and writes an essay that my revolution happens at home. My mom becomes a taxi driver. I have a revolution in my house. I said, yo, like this is
I can feel that. My God, I would never ever imagine someone, a son, even coming. So that's how well connected he is with the kind of work you're doing,
yeah,
and I can imagine his pride.
yeah,
Right? I can imagine his pride, and I think you said something really really important in this. At least he will now grow up to respect women,
yeah. Respecting strong women.
strong
I've really
women.
found that men today have gone through that sea change of, thankfully, that respect has started seeping in. But
Yes,
I always find that men get intimidated by strong women. So
yes, yes.
I think that's that change that we need to see,
Hmm.
right?
No, but I think you asked me, Vandana. I think that change is actually happening.
That's
It's very apparent, especially when I take my sessions in various colleges. I can see there was a time 10, I would about 10, 12 years back when I used to take workshops in colleges, I could see that, the girls would not sit with the boys. It was be like that one, ancient age old demarcation that is there in our minds and our social lives, that women cannot sit with the women, and I mean the men, and the men can sit with women. Wherever you go, any marriage you attend, anywhere you go. I always get divorced from my wife for a short period of time. So I would see that, but now, and I would see that every time a girl would answer my question or would ask a question during the workshop, she would be somewhere ridiculed by some couple of those boys here or there. But now, there's a lovely intellectual acceptance
yeah,
between the opposite genders, and this is a very beautiful feeling. And I've been seeing this the last couple of years, especially post the pandemic.
yeah,
I don't know what the pandemic's done to this, but it has definitely brought a more unified thinking process between boys and girls. Unlike in the past where and there's never a ridicule. You don't ridicule anybody. I mean, that's
mm,
the most beautiful thing about it. And it's so important, and to feel like your son does. If every man in this country, by this country, across the world,
Yeah.
If every man could actually understand the importance of what a woman does. You know, I find this so amazing. One of the things I keep saying that, you know, why do we leave the governance of children in the hands of fathers after a point in time? You know, a woman knows a generation 9 months before anybody else. Leave that woman to decide what the generation should do, the next generation should do. She knows exactly how it has groomed. What an amazing world we'll be living in if just the women are allowed to lead, allowed with the new generation, handle them. Men don't get involved. Right? Listen to your women. Don't
I
do
don't know.
anything else.
Men somehow don't get involved now also. Where are they? I can't see them. I don't know. I don't have men in my life at all to be bothering about this. Father have disappeared.
Okay, now, Vandana, what do you find most challenging as an entrepreneur? I mean, you also had a day job, you've been a professional, and now you're an entrepreneur. What would you imagine? I think a lot of viewers would like to hear this. What would you find very, very challenging as an entrepreneur? Or a few things, if there's in your mind.
So I think as an entrepreneur, the biggest challenge is figuring out where your money is going to come from. Yeah. Um, because you need money for survival. There's nobody going to pay you
Yeah,
your salary out here.
yeah, yeah.
Your own money gets depleted putting into business. And as much as we say, you keep a 2-year fund aside and all, I don't see anybody having that kind of money to be set aside. Nobody's that planned. Yeah.
Right, right.
Entrepreneurship,
I agree
I,
with you.
I feel if entrepreneurship is not a passion game, then it anyways won't work. I mean, if it's all calculated in Excel sheets all the time,
Yeah.
you'll never jump into the water only, right? So
Very true, very true. I very congruent what you just said.
yeah, it's a very trigger game, what triggers you to come. So I think finances are a very, very big part of what we do. And in today's world, the pressure, if you call it performance pressure, is very, very high. Yeah. So
Yes, yes.
actually something which is very valuable for the society, but the pressure to scale this up uh, can just, like, why are you still so small? Why, right? Those
Right,
questions from unknown people everywhere. uh, Boss, I'm small because I don't have the money. You didn't give me the money. I did what I did on my own.
right,
Before
right,
you raise a finger on me, first you see what's your involvement in this.
right.
And,
Absolutely.
and that's something which I really, really, I feel it's the pressure is too much. Everybody wants me to be a unicorn, but they want to sit and watch the game outside. So money wise, honestly, even the investors, they can't handle a strong woman. Most of the investors are men, and they cannot handle a strong woman at the other side of the table. No.
Right,
Even the
right. No,
funding,
I agree with you here. I could
yeah,
understand that. Yes.
there's a big gender issue out here as well.
Mm.
And I think that is one very, very big challenge that comes in the way. So I grow small. I grow slow and steady. तो अब मेरा जितना कैपेसिटी है उतना ही करेगा ना,
Correct,
right?
correct,
But the
correct.
pressure the world puts on you for performing, oh my God, why haven't you got VC funded now? Why haven't you got this? Why haven't you got that? That I think, it's the same way as children also, right? When you're doing something in school and everybody's like, oh, why didn't you get your A grades? Why didn't you do this? It's the same thing that continues into entrepreneurship.
Right.
Everybody's surprised. Why not? Nahi to nahi. So I think that's a very big challenge that gets faced. Business wise, touch wood, we have way too much more that we can handle. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
That's the greatest thing, and any entrepreneur can say
yeah,
with, from
yeah,
right from the heart.
yeah. In
Yeah.
8 years, I haven't spent a single rupee on an ad or on social media marketing, nothing.
Absolutely organic, right?
Absolutely. And it's kept me
Wow.
alive for 8 years. So, today when I sit on projections and, I don't have a marketing cost because I don't know what is the marketing
Yes,
cost,
yes, yes.
right? It's just viral. But yes, building the capacity to service this kind of a demand. is an issue. It is a big issue. There are a lot of challenges when we get women into this segment.
Yes,
It's a totally
yes,
new segment for them. They pair their own families. So it's when I'm convincing a woman to join here, I'm convincing 10 more in the family.
yes, yes.
It's like getting a bride.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
convincing the whole family that side to bring her here.
Yeah,
So
that's right. It's like it's like uniting two worlds all
yeah,
together and saying, okay,
yeah,
look, this is what you're getting into.
yeah,
And then more important, I guess, would be, reaffirming that, she's safe here, don't worry, kuch nahi hone wala.
yeah.
I think
That's
that
how.
would be the biggest concern. I mean, I imagine them
Yeah,
driving in the middle of
yeah,
night, picking up passengers, taking them home.
yeah.
That would always be a concern.
So that's how we designed our business model itself. We said, and this came with my own experience of being a taxi driver, that I did not want to be driving any man in my car, because I don't know what he was going to do to me.
Right,
There's
right.
nothing written on his head that he's
Exactly,
no,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So we filtered out. That's how we built up our business model. I said, you know what, I will not drive men. So first filtration was men. Sorry guys, you go take the Olas and Ubers and XYZ, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. But I'm not the one for you. The second thing was also that, as a woman, I wanted to be working around my home. I couldn't be working like a regular taxi driver, 16 hours on the road, ping ping, get up in one area, go to another. That
Right,
that didn't
right,
work for me.
right.
There were no toilets on the road.
Oh yeah, that is that
Oh,
is
oh, it's
that is
disgusting,
certainly issue. Yes,
So
yes.
then we decided that let's make a business model which suits the woman driver. Let's focus around her. And that's where this whole thing culminated into driving children to schools and tuitions. So here I'm keeping one generation safe. Now,
Yes.
when I'm driving kids to schools and tuitions, it's like a fixed schedule for the whole year. I know exactly where I am. In between, I go home, I do my whatever, somebody's unwell at home, I manage that. That work life balance had to be created. And I knew that, okay, this was fixed business for me for the whole year, this was a fixed route. So that
Right,
made me as a woman feel very stable, not out of place. We don't like to be out of place. And that's how the whole business model got culminated. The only bit was the late night airport drives, which were the so morning to evening, we drive children to schools and tuitions.
right.
Evening to night, we drive corporates back from work, women again.
Okay.
Again, the same timing, the same clients, it's fixed. So I'm not lost. The
Right,
the the bit of the risk that we perceived was the late night airport drives. Even that, we don't have any random booking at all. I book expat clients like 2 3 months earlier. you know
right,
they
right,
they
right,
sent us the whole itinerary. What time do I land? Will your girl be there? Should I take this flight or this flight? So the last mile connectivity for the expats is very important. Now that gives us on the back end a good productive view of what am I going to do when. There's nothing haphazard about what we do. Everything
right,
is pre-booked,
right, right.
and that makes that woman feel safe and secure. So it's how your business modeling is done around the resource, and not necessarily just around the customer. So everybody's running behind a customer today. We are running behind making it comfortable for the resource.
Wow, wow. What a business model that is. And everything obviously be conceived by you
Yeah.
for the benefit of all. Oh, this is amazing, Vandana. Vandana, I've always believed, and this is I'm taking a little different level of thinking. I don't know how many people believe in this, but in my 65 years that I've lived on planet Earth, uh, my greatest confidence came from what I learned from my failures,
Hmm.
never my successes.
Hmm.
Success is like Russian roulette.
Hmm.
गोले चलाते रहो, suddenly था हो गई, six आ गए. But failure is something that you get an opportunity to study, think, and I don't say a failure is a failure. I mean, they should remove that word from the dictionary. I personally feel it's just discovering ways that don't make things work.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
You can't always discover a way that makes things work. So when things don't work, I studied very closely, and that builds up that confidence in me to take more risks. मुझे पता क्या गलतियां तो होनी है. There's no two ways about it. But I know कि यार I'll be making lesser intense mistakes now. अब तो थोड़ी सी ज्ञान तो आ गई ना दिमाग में. So I've understood what it is. So in your case, what was those very significant failures that kept building up your confidence month after month, year after year, all these 8 years?
Initially, I don't think we went through a failure other than, cleaning up the training bit and getting our own processes in place. Touch wood, we've not had failures that way. Um, we've only had demand and demand and demand.
Right.
But the failures or the disappointments came during the pandemic.
Ah, a lot of people say the same thing, right?
उस टाइम लग गई तो लग गई. So we were no schools operating,
Yeah,
no corporates, no airports. We were like, अब क्या करें? So somebody told us that why don't you get into food delivery business? You have those nice Maruti Eco vans. I said at this time, who's going to remove the seating of the vans and make it,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and the pricing they were paying was like seriously distressed pricing. I charge a very decent premium pricing because the girls make, it's a very new industry, so the girls need to
Right,
make money.
right.
But during the pandemic we tried a couple of more things. Let's launch this. Let's launch this vertical where you can have a shared drive for all the apartment people to possibly
Right.
go and pick up your groceries or those small
Yeah,
drives that you
yeah.
need. It was really cheaply priced also, but somehow that didn't work as well.
Okay.
But from the pandemic came out a very big opportunity for us. Yeah. This was like the blooming of the rose, wherein, especially the second wave time, where people were, there were no ambulances. I think we were all stuck in that mayhem that,
Yes.
no transport, there's no ambulances coming. And that's when I started getting distress calls from my existing clientele. Hey, listen, Vandana, I have a car here in my house, but I can't drive. And, once this is done, can you please train me how to drive my own car? That's the distress we
Wow.
started
Okay.
getting from women.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, what the heck? I've trained so many marginalized communities. Let me train the non-marginalized communities how to drive. And
Right.
that became a full-fledged business vertical for us. I told you we done a vertical called taxi break
Yes.
free, where we are training
Yes.
women how to drive. And that, like, the seesaw, right? From zero went up. Fatang. So while the cabs took a downturn, this one really picked up like nobody's business. We again were flushed with business. We were again having solid wait lists, and this became something which helped the scale. I could never see scale before this. I'll tell you how. So I started training women how to drive, and
Right.
that itself was so exhilarating. Okay. Then I was like, how does this fit with my safety angle? I'm focused on safety. But I realized that every time I'm getting a woman to be driving herself independently, I'm removing that fear of public transport from her head. Women feel unsafe in public transport.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Side karo, khud chalao.
हाँ.
Leave it, dump it, make your own solution. So it sat in my safety vision that I had. Now, when I started training these women, I said, I need more women to train them. Now I need more women like me to train them. So what was working over there were honestly, if I would call, feminist conversations. I was
Okay.
talking to her, which she was imagining. It was that girly talk that, you know, you just need to let out
Yes.
sometimes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it was those 20 hours, 30 hours where I was training her was a different zone that woman was getting in. That camaraderie was really helping her to drive.
Yes.
Then I started talking to women who lost their jobs in the pandemic from good homes. I'm talking middle class and upper middle class
Yes.
corporate
Yes.
women.
Yes.
I said, hey, listen, you lost your job. You're desperately searching for a job out here. Do you know how to drive? I'll turn this around in 15 days of training you. You can have a business on hand. So I started getting small franchise partners into the business. I kept a very small 50,000 rupees franchise fee where the world is talking 15, 20 lakhs. I said, damn it, I'm going to have a very small amount. So I make an entry easier for women.
Yes.
I came across women, the most amazing. I have a 62-year-old lady. I call her Super Nani. She was a
Okay.
principal in a school, okay, lost her job in the pandemic. And at the age of 62, God, where will you get a job? But
True.
I've
True.
35 years of driving experience, babes, you are like gold for me, come join. And she became a franchise partner. She trained close to 200 women in a year how to drive, and it was like
My
wonderful.
God.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
so I started picking up women from different walks of life. Another lady, she was in advertising, lost her job, lost the faith that she'll get a job. 50 years old, she said, "Ab to ye mera retirement plan hai. I'm going to do this." So interestingly, the more franchise partners I have across the country, that sets up my leadership levels. Okay. Now, this lady, on one hand, trains women customers. Of course, that's like the paying population.
Right.
On the other, she also trains the marginalized communities, which gets funded by the CSR. She trains the marginalized communities, and these girls get back into the cab structure. So today, if I have a partner in Gurgaon, I have a partner in Mumbai, fine, taxi break free runs, that's the first level. The second is the cab business will start sprouting from those areas.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm actually looking at women participation across the country. Just come, join. There's no competition here, boss. You're only flushed with business. There's no investment here. You're training people to drive their own car. I don't even have a training car. I have nothing. There's no capital cost. There's no rental model I'm paying around here. I'm just going to a client's house and training her how to drive. So we started actually weaving I would say, a fabric of women coming together and contributing to this revolution and making money. Money, without money, nothing works. If you just go on pure volunteering and all, boss, there's no
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
end to
Absolutely.
this.
I agree with you then. You know,
Yeah.
this is really amazing. Oh my God, you got me spellbound. I'll tell you what. Uh, During the pandemic, uh, you know, very two distinct mindsets started coming up. One of a failure and the other to become a success.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people who I knew who were like me, mentors, and would take sessions here, there, and you know, keep themselves very occupied. Suddenly it all ended, and it also ended for me. So मैंने कहा यार क्या करूं? And then I discovered Zoom.
Hmm.
Right? And I said, look, what was my problem? My problem was I couldn't reach out of my home. Now I can reach the whole world.
Birds, yeah.
Right? And then I started shooting vlogs. I had no idea how to shoot a vlog. I used to use my own phone. I put my phone there and talk into it, and I would then do takes after retakes, but I just couldn't speak to a lens. It's so much easier, more comfortable speaking to a human being. And wo bhi ho gaya. And I suddenly chalked up over 250 vlogs in my YouTube channel, and people started, following me, and I was doing nothing different. But what I realized was people who were either watching my my podcast like this, or my musings of a maverick, which is one of my handles, or the maverick cocktails, or my my power packs, Sledgehammer's power packs. There were people who were seriously wanting to either become better versions of themselves or upgrade.
Yeah.
They upskill themselves. And my audience came, me sitting in this very studio of mine. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't have to go anywhere. And while everybody was turning broke, I was smiling to the bank. Right? Now, tell me something, Vandana. If you had to change anything in the last 8 years, as an entrepreneur and with taxi, what would you prefer to do it? What would you actually prefer to do?
No, I wouldn't change anything.
Ah,
I think every uh, every movement has a lot of processes which come out of a lot of experience.
right.
And until you don't have this experience, you really can't come to the right spot as well, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
play your jugglery correctly
Yes.
to be
Yes.
able to catch all the balls. So
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't change anything about this. I think it's beautifully shaped up to where it is, and I can only see it getting better from here. Now I carry experience ऐसे बाल पूरे सफेद नहीं किए
हाँ,
धूप में.
तो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस तो एकदम
हाँ
वो
हाँ
तो
तो
100%
I don't. I find this very silly with organizations, where you have that the older generation just doesn't get jobs and all that. I think it's stupid.
I tell you what, it's not about the organization. It's
Mm.
about the attitude of the guy who's getting old. I tell you today, at 65, I am rocking.
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
literally rocking because, and this is thanks to my little daughter, right? In fact, both my daughters, but they were my greatest inspiration. When I finally teed in as a CEO of a large multi-crore research center, in fact, it was one of the world's largest in clinical research, uh, you know, I felt like those days when I was a very avid trekker. I still am though. And I would climb these mountains and hills and reach the summit. And when I reached the summit, so I'd be taken aback for quite a while. I would sit there for 2 hours. And then that lust for another journey would begin.
Mm.
So that's what happened when I got to the level of CEO. Most people will love to retire. Now you have a nice nine-figure salary, which was every CEO gets that in a large multi-crore company, and you can just spend the rest of your life, if you're lucky like me, become a CEO 50. For next 9 years, you can make a packet.
Mm.
But what happens that lust for another journey?
Yeah.
And that is, it's all about narrative. I keep meeting people who say, yeah, we've done it, been there. I go, "ठीक है यार, dig your grave." But वही रह गया ना, dig your grave. But if you cannot give back to the world all
Yeah.
that you've learned and be able to actually create
Yeah.
a legacy for generations to survive by. You've not lived your life. You haven't done it. You've just lived that 95% दुनिया के लोग रहते हैं ना कि कमाएंगे, खाएंगे, पिएंगे, बैठ जाएंगे. But that's not really what life is all about. So, when you just told me, which I really liked, that you would not like to change anything, you know, being an entrepreneur is an amazing journey,
Yeah.
right? You would agree with me, right?
Absolutely.
And I would like you would never change anything in the past. I've also screwed up in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But well, what the hell, yeah? I mean, at the end, I'm still here, yeah,
Absolutely.
and I'm still rocking it. And I personally feel that, in fact, I wrote a vlog on this, that the moment in your 60s, it's really time to rock. Because
Yeah.
now you are sitting with so much of knowledge, wisdom,
Yeah.
experiences. The world needs it. The world
Ab-
needs it today. Everybody, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, last question before I unfortunately say goodbye to you. I'm enjoying this session so much, Vandana. What would be the most inspiring thing you could tell our viewers?
That's a difficult question, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you from my own example, right? Single mom, went out of my house with $100, 1-year-old child. Uh, Today I'm sitting here. I became a taxi driver from an investment banker,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting here today. I got a World Bank award for what I'm doing. A very,
Wow.
very small company I am, very small.
Yeah.
But I got a World Bank award for what I'm doing. Not just a World Bank award. I recently got awarded by the United Nations a
Yes,
UNDP
I'm
award.
aware of that. Yes.
So all I'm trying to say that it was that very simple driving skill, life skill of driving. It was a life skill, right? I didn't sit and wait and think, oh my God, what. I literally used that life skill and I created a full industry out here.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
And
Yes, you did.
it's about identifying what you can do with that very basic life skill. Who's bothered? I'm a chartered accountant. Who's bothered about what I did in my CA and what I did in my banking? Nothing, right?
Right.
What is it that's impacting is that this lady has used her driving skill and created an industry of safety for women and kids, and each one of you can do this. Something
Yes.
inside you, you forget about, a lot of women, you ladies would have lost your jobs. You must have lost your jobs. What, you must have given up your jobs to raise your families. You're going in that
Yes.
middle age, wondering what to do in life now. How do you connect back? No place in the corporate life. Your basic life skill can become an amazing business opportunity for you and an impactful opportunity.
Right.
So look inside yourself for the solution. The world is not going to give you a solution.
Absolutely.
Make it.
Absolutely.
Make your own solutions. That's it. Simple and straight.
Absolutely.
That's the advice I
I
would
am absolutely congruent with what you're saying, Vandana, because I've gone through that. I mean, a lot of people like me have gone through it. Nobody worth their weight in salt is going to help you in any form.
Absolutely.
It's really all that's within you. It's really all that passion has to be there, that desire has to be there, and you have to be one major enthu cutlet like me. If you really want to give it back, the community that I've created, the Sledgehammer's Edge Universe or SU Hub, it is becoming such a talk of town for the simple reason I've packed in all my years' experience to it.
Yep.
And it's a very simple thing. How to turn a vision into reality. Everybody's got dreams. It's just how to turn that reality. And some amazing people working with me out there as a mentor, doing things. The fact is, I wouldn't be able to have done this 30 years back.
Absolutely.
But today, it's people like us, who can actually give back and create. And we've got so much of temperament to take on risks because we know that there will be a north and there will be a south and a north again.
Yeah.
Right? So Vandana, thank you so much. Hey, it was amazing talking to you, Vandana. I wish we could do this forever. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your insights. Thank you so much for this amazing tip that you've given all our viewers. Yes, it is all within. Everything is within. The thing is that till we don't traverse within, we'll never see the power of what we have to handle things outside.
Yep.
And I think that's really amazing. Thank you, Vandana. Thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure, totally. Let's
Thank
talk
you.
it. Yep.